Coming up on Mountain News this morning, health experts encourage parents to get their kids vaccinated as the new school year quickly approaches. And at Virginia, Dental Association makes a stop in one community to help put smiles on people's faces.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
6 o'clock, and it's Monday. I'm Dakota Makris. Good morning to you. Thank you for joining us on this Monday morning. And let's take it over to Cameron this morning. Cameron, we're expecting some heavy rain. And yesterday I told myself, you know what? I'm going to get my car washed.
Why?
But I didn't. Something was telling me, don't do it, Dakota.
Good. It was my conscience.
It was because you know what? I didn't want the weather team, yelling at me.
Yeah, we get on it. We get on it.
You do.
Sure. Yeah.
You do. You know what? I could just put every one of you on a group chat and just ask you every day, but
that'd be annoying.
Y'all would then block me.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, for sure. This morning, though, the good news is it's not raining for most of us, but we are watching out for a few showers not too far away. Let's take a live look over at Buffalo Mountain. Some cloudy skies, some muggy conditions. Current temperature sitting at 77 degrees, very mild and muggy. Over at I-75 in Mount Vernon, we are looking at a few showers not too far away from this location. Up on Pinpoint Doppler, you can see most of us are dry, but along and west of I-75, a few sprinkles this morning from Somerset along Highway 27 up towards Waynesburg. These are not heavy, but they are a little bit of those sprinkles this morning. Temperatures upper 70s for most of us, 79 for Somerset, 77 in London, 77 also over in Pikeville, but the dew point lower 70s. It feels very muggy and sticky as you walk out the door this morning. That means a lot of moisture is in the air, and that moisture is going to be key for the forecast later on this week. I have that complete forecast coming up in just a little bit. Dakota.
All right, Cameron, thank you. Well, today, members of Governor Andy Beshear's Team Kentucky Medical Cannabis Advisory Committee will hold another town hall meeting as they tour the state talking to Kentuckians about medical cannabis. Governor Beshear said in a tweet, if the General Assembly does not pass legislation, he could take executive action to provide access to medical cannabis for those suffering from chronic pain or veterans suffering from PTSD. Jeremy Toms reports.
Governor Andy Beshear said that 90% of Kentucky adults support the legalization of medical cannabis. At the latest Team Kentucky town hall, State Representative Al Gentry said his surveys reflect that.
Medical cannabis is always on my survey, and it has very consistently over the last 5 years drawn between 85 and 91% approval.
Gentry says he's been a primary co-sponsor on these pieces of legislation since arriving in Frankfort in 2017. A Republican-led bill passed the House in the most recent session, but never was heard in committee in the Senate, despite overwhelming public support for the change.
It is my belief the intent of the Constitution was to put the power in the hands of the people. And there's no way you can exercise that if you don't engage in the process.
As Kentuckians engaged in the town hall to voice their opinion, multiple veterans were on hand, a group Beshear says he would like to bring access to.
I hope that I'll be able to someday say that I haven't broken the law for the last 50 years.
Whether the use of medical cannabis could counteract PTSD, chronic pain, or another ailment, this veteran and many others are calling for change.
People talk about we support our veterans. One thing that you can do to support our veterans is allow the people to use this and not have these men die as criminals.
That was Jeremy Toms reporting. It's important to note the advisory committee wants to hear from all sides of the issue, and some groups and legislators are still opposed to the legislation of medical cannabis. Senate President Robert Stivers believes there could be benefits, but he wants to see more Kentucky-based research. West Virginia Governor Jim Justice is calling on state lawmakers to meet in a special session set to take place at noon today. The call contains one item, a proposal to permanently cut personal income tax by 10%. If passed, the revisions would be retroactive to January 1st of this year. Governor Justice says his proposal contains no increases on any other state taxes and that personal tax brackets would remain the same. He said West Virginians at every income level would see their taxes drop. His pitch is the third attempt to cut personal state income taxes in the past year. The Commonwealth continues to see an increase of COVID-19 cases. Take a look at your screen. This is the latest community levels map that was sent out by Team Kentucky. You can see that many of the counties in the Commonwealth are in red, including almost all of the coverage area. The only counties that are not in red are Jackson, Estill, and Pulaski. Well, believe it or not, summer is more than halfway over, and back to school events, well, they're back. With COVID cases climbing throughout the Commonwealth, doctors are saying getting their children vaccinated should be on the top of every parent's checklist. Dr. Christina Bryant is with Norton's Children's, and she says recently more kids are getting COVID though hospitalizations are still low.
I do think it is remarkable, though, that this morning we had 4 children hospitalized with COVID at the Children's Hospital, because for some time now, there have been many days when we've had no kids hospitalized.
Doctors say the best way to fight trending cases is to make sure your child has gotten their COVID shots before the start of the school year. In addition to mask wearing, the CDC also recommends going back to avoiding crowded indoor events, physical distancing, and of course staying home if you feel sick. Well, cleaning teeth for free, that is what the Virginia Dental Association Foundation is doing across the state. Well, this weekend it stopped in Wise, giving care to people who may not have access to a dentist. WYMT's Chandler Wilcox details their mission to help the community.
Making teeth shine across the region, no matter where they are.
A lot of people don't have access. There's not as many dentists in the area as should be, and some of the areas kind of rural and things are spread out.
The Virginia Dental Association Foundation is partnering with the VCU School of Dentistry and other volunteers to bring dental care all over the state.
And we exist to provide access to free dental care for underserved Virginians.
Regular cleaning, extractions, anything that patients might need.
We're doing all kinds of care that anything anybody needs, we're trying to take care of it.
Why is dental care so important? McGregor says it connects to overall physical health, causing diseases short and long term.
There's a lot of bacteria and biofilm in the mouth, and there's a huge connection to oral health and overall health.
In order to have good oral hygiene, rural areas need more access, something that is part of the mission.
One of the things that the Mission of Mercy hopes to do is to help bring in the dentists and the dental students and expose them to the needs in this area.
This was the first year back since the pandemic for the foundation, and they hope to continue touring around the state providing dental care each year. In Wise, Chandler Wilcox, WYMT Mountain News.
Foundation volunteers say they recommend visiting the dentist twice a year to get your teeth cleaned. Well, the hot weather that's persisting across the Commonwealth creates a life or death situation for those experiencing homelessness. The Catholic Action Center in Lexington mobilized its efforts to bring them supplies to help them survive the heat this past weekend. Brother Thomas Cottle has shared some of Lexington's coldest nights and hottest days with the people who are most impacted by Mother Nature's extremes.
Somebody can die in this heat if we don't keep an eye on them. If you're not able to help them, I'm sure we can call 911 to help.
Cottle asked the public to call 911 if anyone who is in need of medical attention due to the heat. A 12-year-old boy fell through the roof of a condemned Lexington building back in April. Since then, his community has rallied behind him and his family. Yesterday, 50 baseball teams played in a tournament benefiting Cameron called Grand Slam for Cam, and some actually hit grand slams like his friend Juan.
Base was loaded. I was just thinking about Cam, and I had a home run, drove one for him.
Cam's family, they say they appreciate all of the community support, and there's really one thing they can ask them for is prayers. After going through breast cancer herself, one Bowling Green woman decided to take matters into her own hands to make it easier for women to self-examine their breasts by simply opening an app on their phone. Jessica Baladad was diagnosed with breast cancer at 33 years old. She says one day she found a lump during a self-exam but didn't think much of it. A few weeks prior, she had gone to the doctor and also had a clinical exam done, but nothing was said. She later found out the lump was indeed breast cancer. Due to her own experience, she wanted to help others, so she created the app Feel for Your Life.
I'll hear from women every day all over the world who said, hey Jessica, I found a lump because of your app. I went to the doctor. It ended up being nothing, but now I have an advocacy plan in place for myself. I do myself breast exams. I get clinical exams once a month. I'm talking to my doctor about genetics, and I'm going to see what my cancer disposition is, something along those lines is what they tell me about. And I'm like, wow, I didn't think it would have this kind of impact.
You can get the Feel for Your Life app at the Apple Store or Google Play Store. You can also go to the website feelforyourlife.com.
A soggy work week is in store across the mountains. We're already looking at a few showers across portions of the area. Here is a look at Pinpoint Doppler. Most of us are dry as you walk out the door, but a few sprinkles generally along and west of I-75 this morning. Now, as we take a wider look, you see an area of low pressure near Cincinnati. That is going to be the culprit of our soggy work week ahead, as that really just kind of sits over the area and produces heavy rainfall and possibly some gusty winds as well. Temperatures this morning, upper 70s. We had some lower 80s earlier this morning, some very mild conditions and muggy conditions as well. And those will continue into much of your work week. I have that complete forecast coming up in just a little bit. Dakota.
All right, Cameron, thank you so much. It's 6:11 when we come back here on Mountain News this morning. Parts of the U.S. continue to suffer from some searing temperatures as a massive heat wave continues to impact millions of people.